Hello and good morning, everyone. It's Michele Maher here, and this morning I'm here with Sue Coleman. Thank you so much, Sue, for giving me your time to talk about what we've been going through the last few months and keeping a positive mindset while pivoting in our life and business as well. So thank you, Sue.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So if you want to just let us know a bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. I'm Sue Coleman. I'm a brand partner with Neora, and we have a company that helps people look, live, and feel better, whether it's through our fantastic products or our amazing business opportunities. So,
right. And yes. And you also are leading the FemCity.
Yep, I lead the FemCity Collective in Grimsby. Yes, so that's fun.
Yeah, which we're all online now.
Yeah,
for the next little while until it's hard for us to say how long we're going to be online for. But FemCity is a great group of women.
Yeah, it's great. And it's great because people have been staying connected through these crazy times, but we've managed to keep the collectives going and people meeting on a monthly basis and in between. So no, it's great energy, really fantastic. So
yes, and so supportive, and that's what we need too, especially at the beginning of this when everything changed so quickly. I know for myself, I found the fear was there, and of course getting sucked into social media. Facebook was very negative and things like that, and then there's the whole panic and everybody running to the grocery store. So
buying toilet paper for a respiratory illness, makes sense.
Yes, that's another story. I guess it is a basic necessity, toilet paper. So
people do strange things when fear gets a hold of them. Yeah, I mean, I remember being kind of stunned at the whole thing. It all happened so quickly. And I know my husband coming home from his assignment out in Winnipeg and just suddenly like, what do you mean we can't go anywhere or do anything? It was just like, I mean, the first couple of weeks were like a bit deer in the headlights, but then thankfully with a online business, I was able to just keep on focusing and doing what I need to do. So, but yeah, it was definitely strange at the beginning for everybody, I think.
I think it was for everybody. And I've heard the same thing from everybody that, everything changed so quickly on an hour by hour basis. Everyone was kind of glued to the news of watching what was happening because it was all so foreign, really.
Completely unreal. Just we knew
like
it was happening.
Like we were watching a movie. That's kind of how I felt.
And then we found ourselves involved in that movie and saying like, can I leave now? And there was nowhere to go, and it was just very strange, but in some ways it's been good because I think it's brought families together. Like suddenly families are eating meals together, spending time together, and I think in some ways it's been quite a good thing. I mean, it's not what we would wish for, but I think there's been some positive effects coming out of it. And so
and if you think about before this happened, the pace that a lot of us were going at with rushing around to the next thing, and always on your mind would be the next event or the next appointment or having to take your kids somewhere or take somebody else somewhere or dealing with different things, but you'd never actually be present in the moment. You'd always be thinking forward about future events.
I'd see girls on my teams who had, they got kids in sports and they were Zooming here and there and working full time and trying to run a house. And I'm thinking like, this is just completely manic. And talking to them over the last little while when they've, maybe still working full time, but they aren't having this craziness every evening, running a kid in different directions to different volleyball tournaments and weekends being taken up with tournament, and just they're really sort of going like, wow, and reconnecting as a family unit. And I have a feeling that when things get back to some sort of normal with kids' activities, I don't think they're going to be involved as much in so many things.
Or at the same pace, exactly.
No, it's just, I think it's been a real good sort of wake-up call for a lot of people. And for me too, I didn't realize how much time I was spending and actually how much money I was spending running around doing different things, just in gas and meeting fees and things. And for me, it's been quite an eye-opening experience at how much I can do virtually. I can connect with more people at further distance virtually, and it's a bit more time efficient. And my new car with a lease on it, well, the mileage isn't racking up so fast, so that's good too.
Right.
It still smells new, and it's in the garage, and occasionally gets out for a run. So I think there's lots of positives coming out of it. I mean,
yeah, I think that's the case for a lot of people. They've said the same thing, that, you know, we would go meet somebody for a coffee to talk about things, or, you know, get to know them better, get to understand their business so you could see how you could help them, that kind of thing.
yeah.
But generally it could take you, like, say, maybe half an hour by the time you get there. Then you stay for an hour, have a talk, and then another half hour to go home. And now you could just hop on Zoom and immediately have a conversation.
Yeah, you can do 4 or 5 meetings in the time it would take you to do one.
Yeah.
And I just like the fact that I can go further afield, like further geographically.
You're global, like, really, right?
Yeah.
It's I mean, you have a global audience with the internet, so you can get to know people from all over the
I was involved in a LinkedIn challenge last week, and there were people from all over Europe and America and Canada. And I've made so many new connections in the space of 5 days globally, just because of this crazy challenge I was doing. And I probably would not, well, there's no way I'd know these people. So just by getting out of my comfort zone a bit. Yeah. And it's really interesting to connect much further afield, even with Toronto being, like, if I was trying to go to a network meeting in Toronto, it would take me an hour and 15, hour and a half to get there, timing on traffic and stuff.
And fighting traffic the whole time.
Yeah. And here, I mean, I've been able to connect with networking groups from the Toronto area and further, and made good connections that way. So I think in the future, moving forward, I'm going to be doing a lot more virtually than I am. I mean, you can't take away from the person-to-person meeting in person,
right.
but from a time efficiency of making business connections and that kind of thing, I think that I'm going to be doing a lot more virtually.
Yeah, right, exactly. Now that you see that there's the opportunity virtually, you'll have, you know, you'll take a second look when deciding what networking events you want to go to. And you'll go to certain ones where you feel that you do want to be live, but then you can open yourself up to so many more other ones to go to virtually. Because now that all these networking groups have online events happening, my guess is in the future that we will have a combination of live events with virtual events, because I think everybody's feeling that same way, that especially, like, you know, Toronto's terrible for traffic, no matter where you go. So
nightmare.
everybody, you know, everybody has taken this time and they realize what we can do virtually and how efficient we can be. So we all have, you know, online networking events, and then we'll have the live events, but we'll have both. It only makes sense.
Yeah, and I think a lot of companies and event organizers realize that the virtual ones can have as much as impact as a live event, and the cost of putting on a virtual event is so much less than putting on a live event, that I think from a cost perspective, a lot of people will be saying, you know, once in a while we'll do a big one, but for most part we'll just do the virtual. I know our company has opted to, obviously, for nobody wants to go into the States right now. We're going to have a virtual convention. So that'll be interesting to see how that works, and the energy. Last time they did it just as for like a regional thing. It was very good, and good use of time. And so.
Yeah. And I think that's what all the companies are doing. All of the conferences are all going to be online. But I guess the concern would be for the people with event spaces.
Yes. Well, this
because,
is, yeah.
well, first of all, they've been closed for, all these months. But going forward, I think even when we are allowed live events, so many event organizers are going to be second guessing everything and taking a second look to see, is it really worth putting on that event, or can we, do a really big live event and instead of other monthly
Yeah.
ones or something like that. I don't know.
Well, whether you can do it safely too. I mean, I don't know when it's going to be that they will.
And that's the other thing,
It may
exactly.
not be till we have a vaccine or something, but then at least we can still stay connected with the virtual things, and you can, do a lot virtually, which is good.
Right, exactly. And that's what we've been saying during these interviews that I've been doing. We're so grateful for this technology that we do have, where we can connect. And for some people, Zoom, they had never even heard of Zoom before
Yeah.
any of this. I was already familiar with it, but it's like a household name.
Yeah. Well, this is it. And I think we were talking the other day, if this had happened 5 or 10 years ago, I just can't imagine how we would be managing, because we really didn't have this technology as available to so many people. I'm sure it was there, conference calls and that, but to the extent we use it right now, I think people would have been really stuck. I mean, trying to get, information and communication, I think would have been difficult.
Very, very much. And not only for business, but even families. Everybody's been connecting through Zoom as well. For the grandparents that couldn't see grandchildren.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually, I was just speaking with somebody who was talking about her mom being in long-term care, and how her mom is so used to FaceTime now that even though she's allowed to now come back and she could do an in-person visit, but it would be behind the plexiglass and all that, she's worried that what might actually confuse her mom, because her mom's gotten so used to the FaceTime.
Yeah, my dad's in long-term care out in Nova Scotia, and I mean, if I wanted to go visit, I can't right now because of the 2-week quarantine, and then when you come back, you got the 2-week quarantine. So yeah, we've been FaceTiming, and
yeah,
that's good to make a connection. And I've also heard that people have been connecting with their families around the world where they, usually don't. Now they're suddenly having regular monthly conversations with their cousins in Australia and that. So I think it's really brought people closer, really realized how valuable family and connection is. And
yes,
use the technology.
I think we actually, there's a lot of things that we realize we took for granted before, which, it can be as little as sitting in a coffee shop with somebody having a coffee.
Or my husband and I went out this week.
Oh, yeah.
My husband and I went out to a patio on, yesterday for lunch. And, you kind of felt like you were naughty children being out. But it was just so lovely. I mean, we went to the Good Earth winery near us, and they've done a brilliant job with their patio, well spread out. And they were fortunate because they've got a grassy area, so they can put picnic, they've been able to expand their patio. Yeah, but it was just so nice to have that feeling of a bit of normalcy. And that,
yes, definitely. And just a week ago, I got away for 2 nights to Gananoque with my daughter. We just,
nice.
I have a friend who has a bed and breakfast out there, and of course she has been very much hit by this situation, because of being right across the border, they would get a lot of Americans as well as a lot of international travel coming to see the Thousand Islands.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but we had a really nice dinner at a patio out there. Again, they've done a great job spreading everybody out and everybody wearing their masks and everything like that. So, but it just felt really nice to be able to get out like that.
Yeah, and I think it's been good actually for the planet. We were talking about that earlier. I think the planet needed a reset. I think Mother Nature smacked us up the side of the head and gave us this to deal with, while she takes care of some other concerns that we really weren't paying attention to. But yeah, I think it's making everybody rethink where they go, what they do. I think it's very positive. I mean, it seems a bit negative at times because we're a bit fearful because we don't know, but that's okay.
Right.
You know. And when I look at the number of cases we have in Ontario, and then, you know, I keep thinking, well, that's for the whole province. So we're doing a good job here. So I think we're on the right track.
Yes. I would say so as well. And I think that's another cause for concern too, what is happening south of us. So we don't, I think it's best to keep
closed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Sorry, but even my friend out there with the bed and breakfast, she has said the same thing. No, we need to keep safe and keep this under control so that we can continue to operate. Because now, of course, the hair salons and nail salons and massage therapists have been able to get back to work. And my friend who owns the hair salon that I go to, it's been a challenge. It has been a challenge and what she has found, having gone back to work now, is she's had to go to the chiropractor because just not doing hair for months, and now getting back into it with obviously a huge waiting list of people wanting to come back. She's been working 6 days a week, and she's starting to feel like her body is feeling it.
Yeah, it's interesting how people, because my hair guy, when I went to him, I said, you must be working like crazy. I said, no. So people have waited for 3 months, 4 months to get their hair done. They can wait another week. It's okay. I'm not going to put myself.
Knock himself out. That's true.
Knock himself out. And he says, I'm not overloading the salon. I'm just one or two people in because they've got 2 stylists, and keep the distance and that kind of thing. So it's good. And it's interesting because I've now taken to going natural, which I'm sure is going to, it was his suggestion. I said, oh, maybe it's going to make me look too old. He said, no. And he just adjusted because my hair is coming in quite a nice gray, which I was quite surprised at. And so he actually matched the rest of my color to what's coming in and blended it all in. So
wow,
I'm going this color.
It looks very nice. I definitely looks,
so I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised because I thought, well, but I'm thinking, you crazy person, because once this grows out, I'm not going to need to get it colored, and I actually like it longer, so I don't need it cut so often.
So he's getting rid
that with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't even go in for the touch-up kits that he was offering. Some people were going in. I guess you got dark hair is a different concern. But I wasn't going anywhere, and nobody could see it anyway. So I thought,
true, yeah.
Oh, but everybody approaches it differently, because I hear other salons who are just trying to slam everybody in and get them in, and
well,
I guess they got to catch up financially. I understand that, but my guy just said
too. Yeah. Oh.
I haven't gone to the nail salon yet.
Oh, I did. Mine. I had to for my jewelry videos, showing off my rings and things.
Yeah, you kind of need to.
My nails did not look very pleasant. So, and then I went and I said, I need something bold.
Yeah. You said you were going to do something bold with your hair too?
Yeah, that's me.
Looks nice right now. I like it.
It's well, my roots are coming in, but I did a touch up during the time because I just didn't, so I did a touch up myself, probably halfway, I think it was mid-April or something.
I promised him I wouldn't do that myself.
I don't think I did too bad a job either. But I have my hair appointment this week, so I'm happy to go back, but it's going to be much different, right? And normally
the mask is interesting.
Yeah, and normally she'd be doing mine, put the color on, let me sit, somebody else cut, but they can't do that. She's got to do just me, nobody else. So it will be.
It depends on the size of the salon. My guy could do me, and he had me sit in another corner of the salon so he could do somebody else's color.
Yeah.
And then we were able to sit distance apart, and we put our masks on. while we were sitting,
Yes.
waiting
Yeah.
for everything to percolate. But he
Right.
also has an option to sit outside, but it was so flipping hot, we just opted to stay in the air conditioning.
Oh, last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's all
So,
going to be different. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But going back to what you were saying about the earth and everything, I do find like there was somebody else said something early on to in one of the meetings I was in that said Mother Nature was screaming, but nobody was listening, so she turned the volume up. And if you think of all the natural disasters that we were having on a more frequent basis,
Yeah.
even here in Ontario, having those ice storms that we had, which never
Yeah.
when I was growing up did I have such a thing. So, and then of course the hurricanes and things like that. And then the fires in Australia were just before all this. So, yeah.
Yeah, the earth was screaming and we weren't listening. So
yeah, the thing is that we again, we as humans were taking the earth for granted and feeling like we had authority over the earth or whatever, like we owned the earth, whereas it's quite the opposite. We're just visitors.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, my husband and I noticed we've got more butterflies around this year on the flowers and stuff, which is good. And
yeah,
just little things. And so,
yeah,
I hope that it's a good reset.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people as well during the when we first were told we had to stay home and people were going out into nature or going for walks where they hadn't gone walking before. People were actually noticing the trees and noticing the buds on the trees and noticing the squirrels. And then when the birds started making more noise as spring we got into spring more, everybody was noticing it, noticing a lot more nature than they ever had before because always being busy.
Yeah, we found a park up not far from us, which we didn't know existed. And it was really nice to just walk around in the fresh air and just be surrounded by this lovely lush green forest. And yeah, we just came back very much refreshed. I mean, we're lucky we live right on the water, so there's a waterfront trail, which is nice. But it was just so nice to be amongst the trees and just noticing the trilliums and noticing the just the lushness of it. And so, it was a really different experience to what we would have experienced in the past.
Right. Nature and nature revitalizes you when you're out in nature.
Nature and nurture. Really,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing that has definitely been. And the other thing is that because of all the external distractions being removed from us, we've had the time to actually sit with ourselves and look at, who do we want to be going forward? Who do we want to be at the end of this? Whether it be your life or your business, are there things that you've always wanted to do and again said you didn't have the time to do? Going back to that, we have the same 24 hours in the day, but it was just the concept of saying I'm busy, I don't have the time. Whereas now you don't have anything distracting you externally the same way, so you can actually sit and think and look at what you're doing and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was working at home anyway, so I was pretty, I was blessed that way. It wasn't much of a pivot for me to go into sort of a lockdown and just focus on working at home, which was good. But it's interesting for my husband, who was working on consulting on a project in Winnipeg. So he was doing that. And then it was kind of like, well, what am I going to do when that finishes? And then he decided he wanted to make a kite. So we bought his sewing machine. And so now he's sewn a kite. He's put an applique on it. He's made 3 shirts. He's making a cover for the massage table. What else did he do? He's just taken up. So for him, it's been a complete 360. Because going from doing consulting and being busy and traveling a lot, he's found that he can still do his business and he's got time to do this creative hobby and this kind of thing. I probably am doing more social Zoom calls and those kind of things. But yeah, it's interesting how for him, it's given him a whole new lease on life. He likes to paint, he likes to do wire wrapping, and right now he's into sewing. So, and now he's talking about trying to make me a dress. Not sure about that one, because that would require measurements. Even I don't want to take those.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, so exactly. I think a lot of people have embraced some things that they have always wanted to do or always enjoyed, and are finding they have the time to do now.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I mean, I it's a conscious effort for me too, because I enjoy what I do. I love what I do, so it's easy to do it 24/7, right?
Right.
But yeah, I have to really just take time out for me, and to go and watch a good movie, or just sit and enjoy a G&T on the terrace. Just find time to I've got the time. I don't have to be working 24/7, and I think that's also a trap you can fall into at home.
Oh, totally. I think that's been the case for some people who are working a corporate job, who are now working from home, and not knowing how to turn off the same way as they would have before, when they physically leave the building and go home. Now
you have to make time you have to set a schedule.
Yeah, or some people say even to have some sort of a signal, like if you have an office, then you shut the door and whatever, and you leave it. But if you don't even have an office, maybe there's something you put all your stuff into some basket or something else and put it all away, and then just put it like somewhere, and just kind of as a symbol to say, like, I'm done work for the day.
Yeah, well, I try and get up and dressed in the mornings. Like not fall into the habit of working in my nightgown, much as it's very much more comfortable. But I find that I change clothes. I'll go and put on my comfy duds at a certain point, and that is my signal that I'm done.
Right.
It's change the clothes, but I go and put on something comfy, go and put on a caftan or something, and just that's finished.
Yes, right. And that's important to do that kind of, because you could be tempted to just keep working. And the internet is here 24/7. So, and that's the other thing I've found during this period, that especially initially, everybody coming online and everybody offering free services and webinars and things like that at the beginning, you could really get overwhelmed and sign up for everything, and you could be just learning all day. But again, that would be draining.
I'm finding that things have calmed down a bit since since the initial, like, oh my God, I got to stay connected, I got to do this. Yeah, I was completely overcoached, over personally developed, I was not really functioning, because I had lots of doing to do instead of just being and present and enjoying what I was doing. And I really backed off, because I was booking myself with Zoom appointments, and I was booking like it was just constant from like 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. and I just was a basket case. And I said, I don't have to do this. My business is going to be just fine if I don't sign up for that webinar or don't join on that call. So it's a balancing act, right? And I think starting to find a new rhythm as we realize this is going to be a little longer than I think any of us anticipated. Well, I thought it was just going to be a couple of weeks. And here we are, 4 months.
Exactly. That's it. Initially, when everything was closed, first of all, it was March break. And then basically the schools were closed till April 6th. That was kind of what we thought, because we were all, everything was going by what schools are closed. And then they said the hair salons and all that had to shut down, and they had to shut down for 2 weeks. So that's kind of what we thought. And I think that's when everybody then, everybody took that time to I don't know, they didn't know what to do the first 2 weeks, like you say. And then everybody kind of came online like crazy. And then we got overwhelmed. And I think for myself, it was the same thing. It was probably around middle of April that I was like, I just took a step back and thought, oh my gosh, I'm booking all these things, and then I've booked in this, and and then I have no time in between. So even if I'm learning on all these webinars, I have no time to process anything that I've learned.
Yeah, and then you're
And I'm
constantly,
just
things are
exhausted.
open-ended. Yeah, you've got this constant open loop in your brain that's not finished because you're not finishing things. And yeah, I found it
Yeah.
more
And then it's
stressful
more
because
like
of,
I'm back how I was, months before or whatever. So that
yeah,
didn't help.
yeah,
And now I think, like you say, everybody has realized that this is, people have gotten used to this new way
hmm,
that we are, and seeing that things are going to continue this way for, we don't know how long, and we don't know how
yeah,
long when we start talking about live events going back, except we
yeah.
don't anticipate anything happening this year. I don't.
No,
So we're looking now at how are we going to conduct business virtually and online going forward, and getting creative, and thinking of new ways
yeah,
to do things.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think I'd be very, I still find I get anxious even in a store. I don't, just like, people go away from me. Get your 6 feet away. I'm not in a hurry to rush into a store. I'm not in a hurry to go back to the way it was. I kind of
No.
like the slower pace, and I kind of like dictating. Like, I seem to be in control now. I've just taken back control of everything. I don't have to be at the beck and call of all the events, all the meetings I was involved in, and this kind of thing. I find I've got much more control now. And going forward, I'm going to maintain that control. I'm not going to be pulled in 20 different directions. I think it's been a good reset for me business wise. I'm still able to do business. My business has been growing. And I think that there's going to be, it's going to be unfortunate. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be out of work as a result of this whole, situation of people working from home, and some businesses just not being able to open. But I think it's also an opportunity for people to, I don't know, find some way to create self-dependence instead of being dependent on everything else, like finding a new way to move forward, and feeling like
Yeah.
you got control instead of being controlled by everything around you. And that's just me.
Yeah. Right. And feeling the need, like feeling pressured to have to do this the same way.
Hmm.
We're not, I think a lot of people are not going to be rushing back to the craziness of before, and looking more
Yeah,
to having control, and not feeling like you have to go to every single event, or every single, like you say, kids with sports, like, they don't have to go and join every single thing, and you don't have to fill your calendar,
no,
your day,
yeah.
with every single
And I think
hour.
people are, yes, and I think people are going to like really embrace home-based businesses a lot more, because
Yes.
especially if they've got kids in school, or school-age children, I say, because they're not going to be in school, not the same way. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to, and it's going to be tough because there's two parent families who rely on both incomes, and suddenly you're going to find that one or other of you is going to have to do something to handle the children being around needing homeschool. Because I mean, there's all kinds of different models being talked about, but that's going to be such a, I mean, a change for people in the fall, um, with kids going back to school or schoolwork starting up. Right now they've got a hiatus because they don't have to homeschool, but come the fall the kids have got to go back to school in one way or another. And if somebody is going to have to give up their job or work less hours, that's going to impact the finances. And so right now, home-based business is one of the most Googled terms. Like, how do I start one? And I think we're going to see a lot of people creating a second stream of income for themselves just to survive. Like, it's going to
Yeah.
be a necessity.
Right. And also this, this period of time has given you a chance to figure out if
Yeah,
there's something else you're interested in, And of course, there's all the resources online to learn anything and everything you want to.
Yeah. Well,
You know.
well, thank goodness for YouTube, because I mean, my husband keeps on saying, you know, without doing, oh, I've just watched YouTube and there's a much better way I can do this buttonhole. You know, like, it's just, thank God for YouTube.
Right, exactly. But that's you know, that's so
Yeah.
true. So depending on whether or not, you know, some people were not necessarily happy with their job, and so this gives you a chance to look going forward, or like you say, the people who might need to find some other way of making an income. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, so many opportunities as well with and the other thing too is collaborations.
Oh,
Seen
absolutely.
a lot of
Yes.
collaborations happening as we come together as a community. It's a great opportunity to do collaborations, start maybe even run little events together with different people, you know, or even just brainstorming with other business owners, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I found. I mean, with through some of these networking groups that I've been going to that I usually wouldn't, I've met people in those, and while they may not need my services or my products or be interested in the least bit in my business opportunity, what it has done is opened up a conversation where, you know, I'm aware of what they do, and my background is a realtor, right? I was a realtor for 26 years. So I have different connections in that. So it's not all about what I do now, it's about who I know and how can I help other people. And that's what I've been really sort of making very clear when I'm talking to people. I get you may not want what I have or interested in what I do, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't talk and figure out how we can help each other, because you never know whose paths you're going to cross on any given day, on one of these networking meetings or whatever, where you can say, oh, well, I know so and so who does this, or, you know,
Exactly.
yeah, so and so could do a custom piece of jewelry for you, just like you know, I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
people have to be open. It's not all about what can you get, it's how can you give, how can you help, and focus on
Yeah.
that rather than what you can get.
Right. I think that we've really come to realize that it's all about how you can help others,
Mhm.
and there's enough to go around in this world.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
mean, I get sad when you people, you know, are so stingy with their time and with their information,
yeah.
and just being available, because there's lots and lots and lots in this world to go around. There's abundance everywhere. So
Right. Exactly. And that's something that we should, you know, we should all realize that
yeah.
it's all about us coming together as a community and helping one another.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I've always, with network meetings, when I always find it funny when they only want one person per category, and
Oh, that, yeah,
that to me just comes from a place of scarcity. I mean,
it is.
you know,
Yeah,
it
right.
doesn't matter if you got 4 or 5 realtors or network marketers, and there's plenty to go around. You're going to connect with the person you know, like, and trust, and want to do business with. And
Right.
that, you know, yeah, it boggles my mind when they sort of clamp it down. Only one person from this industry, like, suppose I don't like them.
Yeah, I've never understood that. That's actually turned me off every time from any of those groups that do that, because everybody is different. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. We're all different people, and
Yeah,
certain people are going to resonate with certain people, and that's what it's all about. It's all
yeah.
about relationships.
Well, that's the nice thing about Fem City. I mean, we don't have that, you
Right.
know, exclusivity. I mean, if you're a woman, you can join, and if you know, we embrace you, whatever you do, from even if you're a homemaker to professional woman to home-based, but it doesn't matter. Just come and be part of an amazing organization, an amazing energy. So
Yeah, which is full of women that want to support each other, and that's what it's all about, supporting everybody.
yeah,
You know, and realizing that we're not alone, and we're all going through the same things, and we're all
Yeah.
going through this together as well. So reach out and, talk
Yeah,
to people.
everybody's in
And
the same boat, no matter what way you look at it. We're all, we're all vulnerable to the same thing right now. And I think, yeah, it's kind of a unique situation that everybody has been affected by this. There's nobody globally that hasn't
nope.
been affected by this, and that's what makes it kind of strange. It's a real
Yeah.
global reset.
And it doesn't matter it doesn't matter how much money you have either. So.
Nope, it does not matter. It doesn't matter young or old. Everybody is vulnerable, and yeah, I think it's been kind of a wake-up call globally. It's taken some people a little longer than others to realize that there's a problem, but hopefully we'll get it under control soon. Well, thankfully, in Canada, we seem to have a good handle on it. And,
yeah.
Long may that continue.
Yeah, and it's exactly, and that's the thing. It's all about coming together and doing what's best for humanity and what's best for everyone, respecting everybody and without any judgment as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's been a great equalizer. I mean, because as you say, it doesn't matter what you have, what you don't have.
No,
it's everybody's problem.
yes, and
wear
we're
a
now.
mask.
And we're now so we're grateful for everything we have. There's we're just so much gratitude through this period of time for everything we have.
Absolutely.
And we like I say, we're going to come out of this as better humans. I
believe so. Yeah, I absolutely believe that, and I think it's going to be good.
All right, well, thank you so much, Sue, for giving me your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
To talk about it, and I will put your contact information underneath this interview when I put it up as well.
That's great. Thanks so much. Have a great day, Michelle. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Bye now.